Hi there, my name's Amanda Lewis. I'm one of the graduate assistants here at ICATER, and today I'm going to show you an awesome tool to help students with their writing, CoWriter. CoWriter launches as this little blue box you can see right here on the side of my screen. This is actually Microsoft Word that I'm opening it in. CoWriter works in pretty much any desktop program that you enter text into, which is one of the reasons I love it, because it's flexible and allows students to use the same programs that their peers are using to facilitate their learning. So right now this little blue box isn't doing very much, but if I start typing, you can see with each keystroke, and you see I am intentionally misspelling things. I'm going for welcome. And you can see that even though I mixed up some letters here, it's already figuring out that this is what I want. Welcome. You can hear that when I hover over it, I have it set to read the word out loud to me. This makes it a really powerful tool for students who have difficulty with reading as well as writing. We know that oftentimes students have trouble with both. I'll show you in just a moment how to set that for your student in case they would like that feature. If I've found the word that I want, I can go ahead and click it, or I can hit the number that corresponds to it. For example, welcome is 1, so I'm going to hit the 1. That makes it really nice also for students who maybe have dexterity issues or just aren't very fluent typists. It makes it quick to get text on the screen. And then you can see immediately the text predictor, and that's what this is. This is called a text prediction tool. The text predictor is guessing at what my next word might be. And then the cycle repeats itself. So I want to show you the menus. This is kind of our quick menu right here, and you can see I can have it speak whatever I've written. This is also where I can turn speech off in general. So if I'm a student who only needs writing supports, I don't have any trouble reading, I might turn it off from here. I love speak sentence. So if I had a whole sentence up here, welcome to the demo. And you can hear that I have it set that if I hit an end mark, it'll read the whole sentence to me. But I can also have speak sentence, and you see I have a keyboard shortcut for this as well. Welcome to the demo. I can hear it again, so if I just wanted to hear a specific sentence in a body of text that I had written. And there's lots of other extra things that you can use. I won't belabor those because I want to get to our main menu here. So if I click this, you can see that it turns into a whole different menu. I'm going to turn this in kind of in the middle here so we can see it better. One of the neat things about CoWriter, being that it is a text prediction tool predominantly, is this topics element. So as the tool is predicting what kinds of words you might be using, as you might imagine, it might be helpful if it knows what you're writing about. That's what topics are for. So say I'm writing a paper on William Shakespeare. It's going to give me words that have to do with Shakespeare, like Elizabethan and play. Whereas if it was aquarium visit, obviously it would give me very different words like marine and seaweed. So you can see how this might help inform words and give students more relevant words to the topic they're writing about. We can also create a topic. So if you as a teacher want to make a new topic, you would simply input a name right here, and then you could copy and paste or type text into a box, and it would generate a topic based on the words in that text. But there's tons of pre-made topics. Clicking on this More Topics will give you a lot of great options. So here we have our word bank, this next tab. You can see since we have Shakespeare selected, we have all kinds of great words having to do with Shakespeare. I love this because this can be one way to really combat what I call the blank page freeze. So if you have a student that looks at a blank page and goes, what could I possibly use to fill this page? Well, if you have a word bank, turn in either list or cloud form, depending on their preference, you can look and you can be like, oh, well, maybe I should talk about where he performed his plays in the Globe in London. Maybe I could talk about where he was born in Stratford-upon-Avon. And really generate some ideas. And this can even be the beginnings of outlining for a student. Over here you can see we can filter. So we know that a lot of students who struggle with writing often write very short, simple sentences. To encourage them to write more interesting and complex sentences, you could filter it to show them lots of adjectives. So here are some adjectives that would come up in the Shakespeare topic. Or perhaps, like I said, they're doing that brainstorming. You want them to think about topics. You could just put it just on nouns or just all words, just depending on what the student needs. I can also show this while I'm writing. So it launches right here. Sorry, I have a double screen that you can't see. On a single monitor, it would launch right about there. And you can see that can just hang out while the student is writing and give them ideas for more things to write about. Moving on to vocabulary. So obviously this is very nice, but the types of words that a student should be using or would be comfortable using are also going to vary depending on their level. So perhaps you've got a very young student, beginning vocabulary might be more appropriate, whereas those of you who are teaching high school students might prefer that pre-collegiate advanced vocabulary. You can also add personal words, words that aren't in the dictionary, perhaps surnames, like the ones you see here. So that way it will suggest those as well. So say you're writing a paper about someone who has an unusual name. That would be an example of how you could use this feature. Here are some basic settings. You've been hearing Ryan speaking to us, and I do have the speech active right now. Again, if you have a student who doesn't need those speech supports, this is where you would turn that off. You would just click this little check mark right here. Lots of voices available. We've got a male and female, and a few others, as you can see. You can also adjust the rate. That can be very important for students who have attention or processing challenges. Making it too fast or too slow could really impact their ability to interact with the tool, so you always want to take the time to make sure that the voice and the rate are comfortable for a student. We also have text settings over here, just contrast and size of font, so important things to consider, particularly if you have a student with any kind of visual concern. Here under more settings, I just want to take you through this because this is I tend to get some questions here. For example, if you're writing a paper that has a lot of numbers, we remember that our guesses in our text prediction have those numbers along the side, and we don't want to be selecting words when we're just trying to type numbers. So this is where we would take those numbers off if we needed to. So that way that's not happening. We can also toggle the number of guesses. Some students feel kind of pushed around if there's too many options. That can be kind of overwhelming, so you might need to keep the list shorter. Some really like to have a lot of options because they're trying to, use more creative words. Maybe the predictor isn't predicting what they want, so they want to see more options. This is where you would toggle that. Again, this is where we would set font, spacing, how we see the guesses. So I had them horizontal and vertical and dynamic. They can be in several different orders, just depending on the student's preference. Prediction, so I have it always and under flexible spelling. So you saw I wasn't spelling the word right. So for students who have trouble spelling, this is a really nice thing to have. And then I just wanted to point out here in speech, I have it so when I point with the mouse or if I scan with my keys, it'll speak the word. You can turn these off, either if the student doesn't need them or if they just want one. I also have finished sentence. This is a nice one to have even if students don't have trouble with reading, because it's kind of built-in proofreading. After every sentence, it'll read it out loud. Does that say what you meant to write? No, better go back and fix it. A really nice tool for them. And again, more options for toggling how it sounds and how fast it is. And then finally, we have our users tab. So if you have a single classroom computer that has this tool on it and students are sharing it, maybe Timmy comes in your first period class and he needs some reading supports because he has both reading and writing goals. and he's using this tool. He signs into his account. All of his settings are already ready to go. He uses the tool. He leaves. Sally comes in for your second period class. Sally doesn't have any trouble with reading. She has different settings. She comes in, she signs into her account. Her settings are already there, so she doesn't need to spend the first 5 minutes of class undoing Timmy's settings. So that's a really nice thing to have if you've got multiple users on the same license of CoWriter. To get back, we just click that little arrow, and there we are, ready to write some more. So there's CoWriter. I hope you enjoyed our demo today and that you'll check out some of our other awesome videos on different assistive technology tools to help your students learn better. Have a good one.